It's showtime at Homestead, Miami.
Andre Baranowskis at the line, steals it in the Indy 250.
Line into the back, in trouble, and they go. Gordon to the wall, jumps right around.
Side by side on the final lap, coming to the checkered flag.
Steve Morgan, the last lap pass, and the victory in Las Vegas.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. Just watch me now.
It's been a while since the New Era Cup Series has traveled to the northern border in Canada. There's been high demand to return to the Riki Raceway, a fan favorite track in Rimouski, Quebec, and we are back for the first time since season number 3. Sold out crowd here, a lot of demand for tickets. And it's gonna be a good one. Another super speedway in the New Era Cup Series. Welcome to the Bell TV 450. Bonjour, everyone. I am Marty Sakala. In case you're wondering, that's hello in French. Glad you could all join us for round number 16 of the New Era Cup Series. We're 11 races out until the playoffs, and last week was another stunner as well. For the first time ever in New Era Cup Series history, Eric Monaco went back-to-back in the 3-car. Pretty much right now has secured a playoff spot. He's 17 points back, though, on points leader Diego Rossello. We'll love to get more playoff points, especially as we head towards the regular season. But now let's talk about Riki Raceway, as I have Trey Wright joining me in the booth today. Trey, we're going to see speeds over 200 miles an hour. We'll see 2-wide racing. We'll see 3-wide racing. It's been a very demanding track to return to, but when it comes to racing at Riki Raceway, you can't really make a mistake. If you pretty much make a bump, it could end a lot of drivers' days.
Indeed it is, as we are back here as what many people call the Daytona or Talladega that only has 3 lanes. It's a super speedway that is very narrow, so there's, like you said, very little room for error, as one small one mistake you have, and that's unfortunately going to end your day and possibly half the field's day. So definitely going to be a very interesting race, as we got Marty Johnson and Diego Rossello on the front row, but that really doesn't matter because this track produces a lot of cycle racing. So it's going to be all about who can be at the right place at the right time to win this race at the end.
Absolutely, Trey. This could possibly, you said it's a cycle race. We could possibly see a spoiler in the playoffs by the end of the day today. Remember, you got to be top 30 and be in every race this season. Right now, only 11 spots are secured. We may have 12 different winners. Jesse Turner, though, last week was not able to get back into the top 30. He's currently 4 points behind the 30th place spot. Eric Monaco pretty much right now has a high seed secured at the moment. Let's tell you about who is on the bubble at the moment. Mitchell Collins, Zachary Fitzwater, they're at least 50 points up. They got a 1-race advantage right now over 16, so they're pretty good at the moment. It gets good, though, in 14th spot as Luke Rainey is up 14 and Christian Vargas is up 10. But the cutoff is separated by 1 point. That's Matthew Logan in the 96, Zach Ryan behind there. Edwin Mendez and Steve Morgan are each tied for 18th. They're 16 points back. Colin Denton is 23 points back. Now let's give you the starting lineup for the Bell TV 450. Row number 22, time winner of the season, Brian Ferris. John Andrews. Row 19, it's Nathan Stapleton and Fisher G. The 18th row, Jonathan Logan and Cody Smart. Row 17, Mitchell Collins and Patrick Smith. Row 16, Ethan Lewis and Luke Rainey. The 15th row, Johnny Garner. The 2 cars won before in season number 2. Johnny was not behind the wheel though. Next to him, it's Casey Nanico. Row 14, a Canadian. That's a lot of fans are cheering for him tonight. Carter Friesen. Alex Lozano next to him. Row 13, teammates Ethan Hoffman and Edwin Mendez. Hoffman almost won last week. Benny Watson, the outside of row 12 next to him. Back-to-back winner the past 2 weeks, Eric Monaco. Row number 11, Christian Vargas and Zach Ryan, who are battling for a spot in the playoffs at the moment. The 10th row, Tyler Marco and Derek Hamill. Up through the grid we go. Row 9, Gatlin Downey, Ryan Benjamin, Zachary Fitzwater, Matthew Logan. Row number 7, it's Eli Brighton, Jesse Turner. Row 6, Justin Zidell, CJ Williams, and now your top 10. Starting 10th, it's Matt Tuck. 9th is Martinsville winner Brian Webb. 8th is Oswego winner Eagle Barreto. 7th is Stuart Gratton. 6th, the 53 Neil Clifford. 5th is Steve Morgan. 4th, Colin Denton. 3rd, Daniel Boyles. And your front row, starting 2nd, Diego Rossello in the 9-year points leader. And on the pole once again, he's won at a super speedway earlier this year, Marty Johnson in the 12 Daytona 500 winner earlier this season. We roll them off 50 laps around the Riki Raceway. It's a 2.25-mile track. This race will go 112.5 miles. Stages will end at laps 15 and 30. We will restart the race as I believe someone may have failed to take the green. We're just waiting for confirmation here that someone may have missed it. I think we're all good. Yes, we were. Someone just had a late trouble getting going. Expect the fuel window, by the way, to be a lot similar to last week in Michigan, about 40 laps. So I think someone is having trouble getting going on that inside line. We'll confirm who it is in just a moment, but I think we got everyone going. Usually a tough time sometimes for these drivers to roll off the grid. There it is, Derek Hamill. So let's restart the race. Alright, so we are all good to go. Once again, expect the fuel window to be similar to Michigan last week, 40 laps. Trey Wright, the first time we've been to Riki Raceway since Season 3. It's going to be an all-out brawl with these 40 cars. Who do you think is going to come home with the checkered flag?
Well, Marty, I got to go with my man, Napa fan. Benny Watson, starting on the outside of row number 12. He is in that 38 car, famously for Front Row Motorsports, a super speedway ace driven by David Reagan back in the day. I know Benny Watson, his favorite driver was David Reagan, so he's going to follow in his footsteps. He is going to win here at the Riki Raceway tonight.
He has never won in the New Era Cup Series before. He made the All-Star race earlier this season, thanks to winning the New Era Open. A veteran and a rookie make the front row for the first trip to Canada since season number 3. Marty Johnson on the inside. On the outside, Diego Rossello. And it's time to light them up. Pace car makes the hard left-hand turn to pit road. And it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, up in the Northern Border for the first time since season number 3, it's showtime in Canada! Equal starts by the top 2, but obviously today it will come down to aerodynamics. Doesn't really come to aerodynamics at the start, but Marty Johnson with the advantage off of turn number 2. Gets the push from Daniel Boyles. You see 3 wide in the back. Nathan Stapleton thinks to the sandbag and play it safe, hoping to miss an early big one potentially. Johnson opening up the inside for Boyles for a moment, but he cuts down low perfectly. Move the 47 up to second spot, but Johnson a little bit tight up in 3 and 4 off of turn number 4, lap 1 of the Bell TV 450 in Quebec, led by New Yorker Marty Johnson, and it's 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Steve Morgan. Daniel Boyles left out to dry for now.
Boyles is going to get caught in the sucker hole as Johnson goes wide, and that could possibly mean the 9 of Diego Rossello, he could sneak in there and make it 3 wide. 3 wide is definitely cramped conditions, but much like at Talladega or Daytona, if they go 4 wide, especially in the turns, it's going to be a huge mess as we see Stuart Gretton, the Australian, leads here in Canada.
Stuart Gretton, the Aussie, goes to the point early on. Brian Webb making his way up to second position. Now here comes CJ Williams in third. Let's see if he can make a run inside for second on the number 6. We'll take you on board for a lap with CJ here. Low line obviously key. Let's show you the speeds. Over 210 miles an hour.
I'm not sure. I am unsure if they have the restrictor plate at this track, but if they do, that is still extremely bad fast as we see the front of the field is stringing out a little bit as we see some 3 wide in the back as Marty Johnson. He is just falling like a rock on that outside lane. Much like Daytona and Talladega, the outside lane does not work, and you're seeing that right here as the front 7 or so are single file. As soon as I say that, Rossello dives to the inside of Jesse Turner on the 43.
See if we can take it from the visor cam here with Diego Rossello. He's trying to work with his teammate, but right now, he got 3 cars trying to break away from the pack. Stuart Gretton, Brian Webb, and CJ Williams. 3 wide for 4th. Here comes part-timer Ryan Benjamin in the 36. This race to me, Trey, early on, has seemed like this has turned into not really a cycle race. These drivers are really, being patient early on, not trying to wreck their car early in the going.
It has to see Ryan Benjamin clock up into the 4th spot. We know Ryan, he definitely wanted to be in this race. It's one of his favorite tracks in NR 2003, and he's showing why. Up to the not quite podium position, but he's getting there. He's getting that good draft off of the 24, CJ Williams, and he might try and take a peek at the top 3 spots. Meanwhile, the Hornet's Nest towards the back of the pack as we see 3 wide as Marty Johnson continues to fall back in the 12.
Alex Lozano in the middle and Benny Watson on the bottom. High side pretty much as marbles. The groove obviously on that low line here at Riki Raceway. Now look at CJ Williams. See you later. No draft whatsoever. He's going to be fading back in that 24.
That got extremely tight between him and the 34 as we see Ryan Benjamin go to the inside. He's going to have drafting help with the 13 of Steve Morgan as Gretton dives back to the inside to block it. That's going to leave the 6 and the 9 as a 9 of Rossello goes to the inside. And the 6 of Brian Webb is going to go back and join Williams.
Steve Morgan, the 13, defending champion of the New Era Cup Series. He's never won on a super speedway before. Hasn't even won yet this season. It was a tough race for him. Was in the playoffs last week, but got caught up and there was no yellows last week in Michigan, but blew up about halfway through the going and pretty much took him out of the playoffs big time. Him and Benjamin side by side for second. Gretton, meanwhile, he's put up a nice gap over Steve Morgan. Do you want to have about a 3-5 car length gap right now, or no?
I would not. I'd say probably a 1 or 2 car length gap would be good because as soon as you get out ahead of these guys, they're going to have a lot of momentum from the draft. And speaking of momentum, we saw the 13 slide up in front of the 36. So another thing I want to mention, if somebody in this front pack or these front couple of cars gets hooked, there are little escape routes here at Riki Raceway due to it being so narrow. You see the 36 attempt to go to the inside of Steve Morgan. So if these guys wreck in the front of the pack, it's going to be an absolute accordion wreck as we see the Rossello. He's going to try and draft up to the back end of the 41. Can he get to the inside of him? He's not going to quite get there, so he's going to fall back in line on the outside and follow the 41's tire tracks.
He's got a nice push from teammate CJ Williams, but they've put a nice gap on Rossello, trying to push, literally tandem with the 41 car as they go down the backstretch. A nice speed shot there. Oh, he's going to make the slingshot to the inside for the lead. He's got the run. Is the points leader going to go to the point? Yes, he will. Moves rookie Diego Rossello to the race lead. But remember, they had a big gap over Steve Morgan. He's going to get the draft, and he will move up to second spot, separate the Hendrick teammates. 3 Chevys were on the bottom line for now, but here comes Steve Morgan in that 13 machine.
Gonna have Williams have to drive up behind him on his back bumper And the reason the other pack was supposed to we're catching up so quickly is because those two were side by side drafting each other. As we see the Aussie Stuart Grattan dive back to the inside of the 9.
He wants that lead back, but has no drafting help. Rossello and Benjamin pushing each other, but the 41's got it working out. Benjamin cuts down low. Stuart Grattan will retake the lead in the Bell TV 450. They're 3 wide, and Brian Webb, he was just 3 wide a few seconds ago. Does he have an issue in that 6 car? No, he doesn't. I thought he did for a moment. He's fading back a little bit. Kurt was 6th at the line, but he's like 12th now.
He had to check up a lot there. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues as Ryan Benjamin is going to have help from Williams in the 24 on the inside. Grattan blocks the inside lane, but now has the outside lane. They're falling back a bit as that's not the preferred line. On board here with CJ Williams. He is door to door with his teammate Rossello in the 9 and is just following the 36 tire tracks. And then a rear bumper cam looking at Edwin Mendez in that 11 car.
That 11 car has won at Riki Raceway before. Last time at Riki Raceway they won with Jay Jefferson behind the wheel in the 11. We got 4 laps to go in stage number 1. The Aussie Stuart Grattan leading. Benjamin 2nd. Hendrick teammates battle for 3rd. Williams and Rossello. Here comes Edwin Mendez on the inside. How about Jesse Turner? He is desperate to get it back inside that top 30 in points so he can have his playoff spot back. Currently running in 7th last time they crossed the line. Let's see what happens here. Crosses the line now in the 5th position. Rossello faded back a little bit more again. Something's going on with these drivers on the high side. I don't know if they're getting really tight crossing the start-finish line. They got that fear that they're going to hit the wall or something. Something we've never really seen at Riki before, Trey.
I think that is the case. To just get extremely tight as they go through the tri-oval and you just don't want to risk hitting the wall. And speaking of possible risk and everything, I don't want to make a prediction, but if this race goes caution-free, there are pit stops. There are pit stops of fuel window as roughly lap 44, which is 6 laps to go in the race. So that's definitely going to shake things up if some guys can possibly save, as the guys in the back that are could be saving a little bit of fuel trying to stretch the entire race. I'm not sure if that would happen as we see Mendez dive to the inside. He had a he's not going to have any help on the inside as they transition back to the bottom. So if they do possibly go caution free, late race pit stops are definitely going to play a factor into who wins this race.
It's a 4-car freight train breakaway. About maybe 3 car lengths separate 4th and 5th. That's Igor Barreto currently running in the 5th position for right now. Here comes Rossello. Mendez thought about diving to the bottom, but Benjamin shut the door on him. How about Fisher G in this pack as well? His 2nd star in the New Era Cup Series. Currently running about the 10th spot.
It is we see these guys driving from the top to the bottom to the top to the bottom and back to the middle. They are switching positions on the racetrack like they're trading stocks. But meanwhile, Stuart Grattan continues to show the way as he has Ryan Benjamin, Edwin Mendez, the 77 of
Barreto.
Look at the list here. I accidentally tabbed out of Igor Barreto in the 77. And Rossello, first car on the inside lane as they transition back to the preferred line. And then you have the 22, Jesse Turner in the 43, the 18, Williams in the 24. As they're starting to get a little bit single file, and just as I say that Mendez has a run, he's going to slingshot Benjamin, but I don't think it's going to work out. Just, whoa, that got close. He had to get out of the gas a little bit there.
We should mention, by the way, while you were talking, Stage 1 did come to a close, and Stuart Grattan did take home the stage. He's raced at Riki Raceway before in seasons 2 and 3. He was the defending, he was the New Era Cup Series champion in season number 3 on what came out of nowhere, taking the lead in the championship with 3 to go after Steve Morgan, who dominated that championship, who's currently running just outside of the top 10, blew up in turn number 3. Homestead Miami, I tell you, once we go there for the championship again, it can make and break hearts. Rossello trying inside on Mendez for 3rd. He's got Turner pushing him. Let's see if this is going to work out here at the stripe. It's Mendez at the line. Turner thinking about diving to the inside. Nothing working out just yet. Oh, actually, I don't know if you saw that, Trey, but either Benjamin or Grattan, they scraped the outside wall there.
They're running the Harry Gant line, even though that's at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But yeah, like you were saying, they are running these cars extremely tight because if you get a little bit loose here, it's just like Daytona or Talladega. You can easily spin out your car. So there, maybe some teams put them a little bit too tight. That's why they're letting go and letting off the gas in the middle of the tri-oval, as we see a single file for the first couple of cars. Meanwhile, Mendez, he's going to go to the inside of Benjamin. Grattan blocks low. There's a freight train down in the bottom, and Benjamin is going to be left at the station. Goodbye. Back to the back of the pack with you.
Benjamin not giving up, playing some smart defense, only fell back to third. He's trying to get a draft with Ethan Hoffman on the outside, but that's not working. Here comes Rossello, 3 wide. Now the thing is, you got to be careful with your Grattan because you got a pretty good lead. Don't want to get too far ahead because they could slingshot you at any time. The points leader, Rossello, up to the second spot. I was going to say as well, these drivers have been very cautious this year than earlier years of the New Era Cup Series as Rossello trying for the lead. Oh, Grant shuts the door on him for a moment, but that got tight. He was about to get turned. Rossello to the race lead at Riki Raceway, and here comes Jesse Turner in the 43.
Yeah, Grattan got turned right there. If any of you guys saw the 2019 Coke Zero 400 at Daytona, there was a similar incident between Clint Boyer and Austin Dillon, where Austin Dillon actually did get turned, and since they were in the beginning of turn 1, that would have been just a huge mess that would have knocked out a lot of the guys out of this race. But Rossello goes to the outside. Grattan's going to fall back to 4th. Turner has help from Mendez in the 8 car on the inside lane. It's a 2x2 wide all throughout the pack, and then a couple of single file stragglers in the back of the field.
Jesse Turner trying to take the lead away, but that high side actually got momentum in turns 1 and 2, and here comes Grattan again looking for the race lead. So what I was gonna say, Trey, earlier on, these drivers have been pretty patient and cautious at these super speedways this year. Think about it. The Daytona 500, we never even got the first caution until green flag pit stops without maybe 20 laps to go or so. And Talladega, that went caution-free. Here comes Benjamin, by the way, trying to challenge for the race lead. He's got no help in 1 and 2. Let's see what happens with that high side. Worked last time out, and it works again. Now Fisher G makes the cut down to the bottom, and Rossello back to 2nd. Ethan Hoffman goes to 3rd. Eric Monaco up in the top 5 as well. No one in NOFSRL history of Fun Fact has ever won 3 in a row. He won 2 in a row after clutching out in Michigan. We may have to call him Mr. Clutch from now on, Trey.
Indeed, we have. As I'm noticing they're starting to get a lot more racy. But like you said, they have been playing it safe. Daytona was pretty uneventful until the first round of pit stops, and then everything hit the fan right there. Talladega was uneventful. I'm not sure if we even had a caution in that. I should probably know, as we see the 19 car of Mitchell Collins.
He actually went down. He was in pit road 20 laps ago, so he's got an issue under the hood. They're trying to repair it as soon as possible. Ethan Hoffman, what a heartbreak for him last week. Was leading after the green flag pit stop sequence, and then because Monaco had the fresher tires, finished in the 2nd spot. Benjamin, the low line in a draft, Hoffman didn't even need any help whatsoever, and he defended perfectly in 2nd.
As that prediction I said about it being a cycle race at the top of the show, it hasn't really played out. As Stuart Grattan, I think the lowest he's been in has been 5th. So he's just been the most dominant driver all day. Yeah, just definitely just most dominant driver all day. But Ethan Hoffman is following him. Same with Ryan Benjamin. Shout out to the number 95, if I'm not, excuse me, the 96. He's up here of, give me
that is the 90. That is the 95. Actually, I think you're talking about him, Matt Tuck. New paint scheme, Procore on the hood for a few races. Was in 4th last time. He was fading back earlier on. Now he makes his move up to 3rd position, pushing Ryan Benjamin up to that runner-up spot. Here comes Mendez in the 11, up to 4th, and Eli Bright. He had a heartbreak story a few weeks ago in Kansas. I think that was actually 2 weeks ago in Kansas when he lost out to teammate Monaco. Here we go for the lead. Benjamin looking inside. Mendez pushes him. Only 2 drivers working the top side, and they're 4 wide in turn number 2, Trey.
We got 4 wide,
Beware of
the
that.
second
Oh,
one.
Brian Webb, way loose. What a save he makes, but he's got to be careful merging back up into traffic.
Oh my goodness.
On the apron.
Loose. I mean, tight.
I don't know
that
how
was
he
not
saved that.
Oh,
This
that was
track-
not a wreck. I have no idea. That was a top-notch save by Brian Webb. Put that in the season highlight reel. But what that has done, that has split the pack in 2, so that's going to change the dynamic for this race for sure. But man,
We saw this as well. No, I don't mean to interrupt you there, Trey, but we saw this as well at Talladega. A lot of engines were expiring in that caution-free race, as you see Eli Bright challenging for second on Ryan Benjamin. He had 1 pack just like this. Then he had a second pack. I think there may have been 4 packs when we took the checkered flag. 3 laps to go, by the way, in stage number 2. Stuart Grattan, the dominant car so far today. He's led the most laps. Jesse Turner up to second position. CJ Williams was looking for third. The high side in 1 and 2, Trey, that's like the line where you want to be. But then in 3 and 4, you want to get to that low side. It's kind of weird here at Riki Raceway.
it is. The tires are definitely starting to wear as we see Benjamin go underneath the A car for P2. Tire wear is definitely starting to come into play as Stuart Grattan continues to lead with Ryan Benjamin in hot pursuit. And I still can't believe that save by Brian Webb. They're 4 wide coming into turns 1 and 2. Contact being made between him and the 10 of Cody Smart. And then he dives to the inside, and how he saved that Mustang 6 car. Just amazing. Stuff of legends right there.
How did Stuart Grattan keep the lead? All by himself in the high line. Benjamin was to his inside. He got in a tremendous gap there. Benjamin currently second. Eli Bright is third. CJ Williams is fourth. We're coming to the final lap in stage number 2. Grattan trying to sweep on a super speedway. I don't even think that's even happened before.
I think so either. We see 3 wide. Benjamin's going to get shuffled all the way to the high side. He's going to have Turner and Williams on his inside lanes, as that's going to allow Eli Bright to pop into the P2 position. Meanwhile, a couple
He got
drivers
way
switching
tight
lanes.
there
Oh, yes,
in 1
he
and
did.
2. This could cost him third as well to Jesse Turner. But here they come off of turn number 4. Stuart Grattan versus Eli Bright. That's going to be a sweep for the Aussie. Season 3 New Era Cup Series champion Stuart Grattan gets it done. 20 laps to go in the Bell TV 450. He's leading. Eli Bright second. Ryan Benjamin trying to defend third position over Jesse Turner. He's got that. You can move Matt Tuck up to the 4th position. He's doing a good job as well. Benny Watson, first time we've mentioned his name, currently was 10th at the stripe. And Brian Ferris, who started in last position, has made his way up to the front.
Definitely seeing a lot of new faces up here as we focus on Jesse Turner as Benny Watson dives to the inside. Meanwhile, Benjamin is back up, so I think it's definitely been the Ryan Benjamin and Stuart Grattan show towards the front of the field as Matt Tuck is going to get a toe off of that 36. But as we close in on the later stages of the race, there has not been a caution yet, knock on wood for that. But we have to ask, pit stops. Are the green flag pit stops going to play a factor into this race as Matt Tuck moves into the last podium position? As I said earlier, the pit window was 44 laps, which is going to be 6 laps to go. As Mendez tries to go to the inside of Benny Watson, he's going to put him out to the outside. So Marty, do you think pit stops are going to be a factor? Because I think if this stays green, pit stops are definitely going to play into who wins this race.
When we raced at Michigan last week, because the fuel window definitely similar, the drivers came in on lap 39. Oh, there they go! Brian Ferris' turn! Here we go! It could be a big one! He took a hard shot. Steve Morgan is in it. And I think those were the only 2 involved. Ethan Lewis has a piece of it. Same with Derek Hamill. The first yellow of the Bell TV 450 is out. Yes, it is. Here they come to the stripe, and this changes everything. Oh, man. I think we saw a bump draft down the back straightaway. It was too much of a bump draft. and Brian Ferris gets the worst of it.
Basically everything I just said, ladies and gentlemen, just throw that out the window. That is for certain that these guys are going to come down when the pit road is open. Man, they were doing so well, and then a bump draft gone wrong in the middle of the pack. And like you said, Marty, this changes everything. Pit strategy's not going to come into play. It's all going to be done on the racetrack. Actually, no, pit strategy is going to come into play, because if you have a bad pit stop here, that's going to screw your race. As we see,
now what do you want here? Do you want 4 tires and fuel, or do you just want fuel only and get that track position? Because we've seen Stuart Grant play some tremendous defense today. Clean air pretty much is the best friend.
I think it is. I think most of these guys are going to take 4 tires though. So I think it's going to be the amount of fuel that they pack into these Gen 6 race cars. I think we're definitely going to see a couple of guys that go probably half a can full or just a single can, but we do not know how this is going to play out. As we focus on Stuart Gratton, his pit stop is going to have the right sides first. Does he go with 2 tires?
Definitely we'll have to see what happens here. Let's look at the pit road exit cam there. That 41 goes 2 tires, and the race off pit road goes to Ryan Benjamin. Mendez second, Gratton is third. Let's see who's fourth. Tuck, Watson, Bright, G, Hoffman, Rossello, and Brian Webb.
Ow. 2 tires stop for a lot of these guys. So I think tires, just minimal tires and minimal fuel, as we are gonna restart with roughly 10 laps to go. So I don't think they need to pack those cars a lot with the fuel. So definitely interesting. But Ryan Benjamin up to the point with Mendez. He hasn't been at the front nearly as much as the guys he's in between. But Tuck in the 4th. Stuart Gratton in 3rd, Tuck in 4th. Benny Watson, my pick to win the race, 5th. Eli Bright comes out 6th. And then it's Fisher G, Ethan Hoffman, Diego Rossello, Brian Webb, the guy who made the amazing save, and then Casey Nanico in the not Casey Nanico, who's in the 53
Neil Clifford
again.
in the 53. I want to take a look and see what happened. Real quick, actually, I just noticed this. Ethan Hoffman, let's show you the onboard with Rossello. Hoffman has some rear end damage, so that could play a big factor.
Yes,
Let's take a look at the replay and see what brought out the first yellow in the Bell TV 450. So from the aerial shot, Ferris tried to come up on Morgan and misjudged it. They get into the wall. Christian Vargas nowhere to go. Brian Ferris takes a shot on the inside wall, spins back up into traffic. Everyone was committing to the high side to miss it. And then Hamill and Lewis, they kept going at full speed, but they clipped the spinning 20. I'm surprised that was not many more. There were not many more drivers involved. Let's look at this in real time, Trey. All right, take it.
All right. We see just a misjudgment on Brian Ferris's part, and he takes a hard hit to the inside wall. Hits Morgan again, and then unfortunately, Derek Hamill was an unfortunate bystander for that and got scarcely involved, as Brian Ferris, a misjudgment on his part, and he's going to get the worst damage of that is Steve Morgan. Both of those guys had decent runs going for them, and they're going to have nothing to show for it.
Onboard Brian Ferris. Pancakes the inside wall, then gets turned to Morgan. You can't even, you won't even think when looking at onboard that Lewis and Hamill got clipped, but unfortunately, they did. So let's get ready for what could be the money restart here in Quebec.
I've been dreaming, thinking that maybe we're all gonna win. 'Cause I've been losing sleep, fighting something. I think it's time to let go. let go. I think it's time to let go. I thought I'd let you all know. I think it's time to let go.
Back here at Riki Raceway, we get ready for the first restart of the day. Ryan Benjamin, a part-timer. He's been very close to winning this season. Lost in a photo finish to Jesse Turner at Texas. Led the most laps at Richmond, but had an issue with the car and had to come down pit road. He is not racing for a playoff spot. He is just here to race for wins. Edwin Mendez restarts in second. Stuart Grett in third. Matt Tuck fourth. Benny Watson fifth. Eli Bright sixth. Fisher G 7th, Ethan Hoffman 8th, Diego Russell 9th, and Brian Webb rounds out the top 10. All the drivers that were involved are done for the day. Christian Vargas, Derek Hamill, Brian Ferris, and Ethan Lewis. No word on what's going on with Mitchell Collins, but it's going to affect him greatly in the points. Came in 56 points above the cutoff, 5th overall of all the drivers. Into the restart zone for Ryan Benjamin. We will have 13 laps to go at Riki Raceway. Back to green we go.
Benjamin and Mendez, they got a huge run, as we already see. Rossello and Hoffman go to the inside. They're going to try and tandem through the rest of these guys.
Remember though, that 18's got rear end damage. That's aero damage. This track is definitely aero dependent. How could that affect him as everyone goes down the backstretch? Here we go for the lead. Mendez inside. No one goes with Ryan Benjamin. See you later, Mr. 36. Mendez up to the point. Oh, but here comes Grant looking to the inside. And look who he's got behind him. Matt Tuck in that 95. If he's above the top 30, he would be in right now. At the stripe, the 41 back out front in Canada.
Grattan has been the Aussie has been putting a clinic on here in Canada, but don't look now. Matt Tuck is hugging the back bumper of that 41, and Benny Watson, can he win on the super speedway? Eli Bright, his favorite driver is Dale Jr., a super speedway ace himself.
Here he goes
to the inside.
Tuck to the inside for the race lead. A win, I believe, would put him inside the top 30, but he would still be within that danger zone. Move the 95 out front. Matt Tuck goes to the point with Benny Watson up to second, 11 laps to go in Rimouski, Canada. Here comes that 38 looking to the inside, trying to get that push from Ryan Benjamin. Nothing working out just yet. Tuck keeping that high side working in gear. Watson not giving up though.
Two ringleaders of NOFSRL after darks door to door as they head down the back straightaway with 10 laps to go. This time by Grattan's going to give the 95 a huge shot. They dive down to the inside. Grattan is going to look to try and pass the 95 going to the tri-oval. He's going to look to the inside, but Tuck is going to shut the door.
Let's see what happens here. 10 laps to go. Tuck and Grattan trying to pull away. Probably not where that 95 wants to be at the moment, but Grant looks to the inside. First time he's had a challenge for the lead in 1 and 2, but Tuck is trying to defend perfectly, and he does there.
Got dicey right there as they're heading back on the back straightaway. Meanwhile, 3 wide mid-pack. We saw the 22 go a little bit high as it's a hornet's nest of deep 3 wide deep in the pack. As there's a front pack, there's a front pack starting to get established. We do see 3 wide with the other Aussie, Zachary Fitzwater. The 2 Aussies bookending the field right here as Matt Tuck continues to lead. Eli Bright on the inside of the 38 of Benny Watson. And Grattan's going to try and go to the inside of Tuck. He's going to get the door shot on him. And Tuck remains in the lead here at Riki.
That got pretty good there, entering 1 and 2. Stuart Grattan trying to get very aggressive up to that back bumper. Here he goes for the race lead. He's up to the quarter panel of Matt Tuck. Not what Tuck wants. Grattan's going to get a push from Benny Watson. Oh, those two are going to get into a feisty conversation. He wanted Benny to be on that high side there. They come to 8 laps to go at Riki Raceway. Here goes Benny Watson to the inside.
Watson, is he gonna have him? I think he's gonna have the preferred.
He's got to run. He's got to run. Benny Watson tried to get the lead off of 2. Oh, Greg with a beautiful side draft keeps the lead. Does Tuck keep second spot? Right now he does, but Mendez may force something up the middle. Almost a bump draft. Yikes is the only word you could say there. That got pretty close. 3 Toyotas on the outside trying to work together. Tuck, Mendez, and Hoffman. Here comes Eli Bright though, 3 wide, and Benny Watson gonna get stuck in the sucker hole with nowhere to go. He will keep second though. Bright let him in. But it's 3 wide for 4th position here. Bright on down low, but Hoffman finds a way back on the bottom. Tuck was able to keep the 2nd position there, Trey. Go ahead.
And continues to lead, but he's got Matt Tuck in hot pursuit. Tuck is going to look to the inside, now to the outside lane. Not going to have it there. As, we're going to have 3 wide for 2nd place and 3 wide for 6th place on back.
Wow, what a pass by Benny Watson. And here comes Hoffman in the 18 with that rear end damage.
If Ethan Hoffman wins this race with a beat-up rear end, that would be incredible on such an aero-dependent track. But Stuart Grattan, he has to be careful. If he goes out a little bit too much, these other guys led by Benny Watson at their point are going to have a huge steam of momentum as we're 3 wide as Brian Benjamin is stuck on that outside still. And we have 5 laps to go, this time by.
A yellow would end the race. 28 drivers all have a chance to win it. Here goes Watson to the inside, trying to take the race lead away in Canada. But it's not working out. You gotta try and get past a man that's very good in the New Era Cup Series, and that's Stuart Grattan.
High side, Watson on the low side, 2 Fords at the front of the field. Meanwhile, Hoffman in the beat-up 18 car, beat-up rear-end 18 car, he's holding tough on the outside lane. He's got Tuck, Brian Webb, the 14 of, gotta look at this list. Patrick Smith, have not mentioned him all day. And don't look now, Diego Rossello and Johnny Gardner have not mentioned his name all day as Eli
Gardner, he is looking for win number 3 this season. That'd be incredible if he could do that in only 16 races. He's got a chance to do it, but it's tough. This man has been playing stellar defense all day with 3.5 laps to go. He's led the most laps. He's got a chance at winning again. Watson and Hoffman keep the high side working. They're in 2nd and 3rd, while these 2 guys are side by side for 4th.
Just clean air is such a clean air dependent track at this point. If you're the leader, you're going to have the best shot to win this race. It is extremely hard to pass him. Watson is on that 41's rear end along with Ethan Hoffman. Put all 28 cars under a blanket as we have 2.5 laps to go.
Watson thought about looking to the inside first. Now Tuck's going to go look to the inside, and Hoffman will go with them. The Toyotas work for 3rd and 4th. Here's Brian Webb as well, who, remember, he made that ridiculous save on a 4-wide situation, and he's got a chance to win it. Popsicle sticks up in the air this time. 2 laps to solid, and here comes Tuck for 2nd.
Grattan goes a little bit wide on the high side. That's going to open the door for Matt Tuck. Grattan could not
tried to block him. That got a little bit close there, but Grant keeps the lead going off of turn number 2. Here comes Patrick Smith in that 14. He's up to 4th position. Brian Webb to the inside. The Fords now going to work together. Mustangs 1, 2, 3 on that inside. Here comes Webb in the 6. He's got to run off of turn 4. White flag in the air. One more time at Riki Raceway. And here comes Brian Webb.
Oh, Grattan got tight right there. Grattan got tight, and now Patrick Webb is in command of this race. As
Brian Webb looking for win number 2 this season. Won at Martinsville earlier in the year. Patrick Smith behind him. The man that came in 16 points by the points there. Oh, here comes Smith. Teammate Grant working on him. Get ready, folks. This could be a photo finish at Patrick Smith with a last lap pass. Oh, my.
Woo!
Patrick Smith, the spoiler. wins it at Riki Raceway. Oh my.
SHR 1-2. Jesse Turner gets a final podium position. Matt Tuck, Eli Bray round out your top 5. What a wild race. Stuart Gratton, the dominant car all day long, could not get there in time. And Patrick Smith from Nowheresville, USA, is your winner here at the Riki Raceway in Canada. Oh my goodness.
I don't think any of us would have predicted Patrick Smith to win. It was either going to be Stuart Grant or Brian Webb coming down to it. If Grant couldn't win, he had to push one of his teammates, and he pushed Patrick Smith perfectly. Started from the back, only led one lap, and that was the most important lap of them all. And that is why Riki Raceway is a fan favorite in the New Era Cup Series.
It is. We're definitely going to have to come back here next year, as this provided a ton of awesome racing. As Patrick Smith, the rookie, is in victory lane here.
So your top 10, Smith, Gratton, Turner, Webb, Tuck, Bright, Gardner, Hoffman, Mendez, and Watson. Now we got to see where Patrick Smith is in points coming in, because I believe he was outside the top 30 as well. So if he is outside the top 30, the win would not count for now, though. Speaking of top 30, Jesse Turner with a third place finish. Definitely what he needs to get into the top 30, but we'll have to see what happens. There's the rest of the field, how they did. Now let's take a look at the standings after the Bell TV 450. So here's how everything looks in the standings afterwards. Man, that was a crazy race we had today. So as we look at the standings, Patrick Smith went up 6 spots to 28th. He's in. Jesse Turner gained 7 spots up to 25th. He is in. So right now, after 16 races, we've got 13 different winners. So 3 drivers currently right now on the bubble. That's Zachary Fitzwater, Mitchell Collins, and now Edwin Mendez up into 16th. Patrick Smith, by the way, even with the win, he's got 279 points. He is 10 points above the cutoff, because the cutoff is at 269 for right now, or I should say, the guy in 31st has 269. Jesse Turner now has 286. So he put a bigger gap now. It's about maybe 17 points, I want to say. Brian Webb came oh so close to winning his second race of the season. That would have been a big #1 seed in the playoffs right there. And Stuart Grant gained 7 spots after a dominant race. I thought he was going to win it. Unfortunately, did not work out for him on that last lap. He got outraced, pretty much, to say the least. So, yeah. Trey had to leave, so he won't be back for the rest of the broadcast. But what a race we had today at Riki Raceway. A completely different race than we've had the past few seasons. This was a cycle race, and not really a... it wasn't a cycle race, I should say, and pretty much a race where any line, you could say, is possible at Riki Raceway. So, yeah. Next week is another big one as well. We're at Chicagoland Speedway for... the Uno Deep Dish Pizza 400. That's at 1 o'clock. That's a week from tomorrow as we're recording this. And here's something pretty cool as well. You know that Super Dirt Week stuff that I've announced on Discord? I haven't released a trailer yet or an intro for YouTube. But I will be within the next week or two. And this is a Super Dirt Week qualifier. So if you're either in a late model race or a big block modified race, you will qualify for the big show, the main event. Regardless of how you do, it can be a provisional in the main event, so you don't have to compete in any LCQs whatsoever. So that's gonna do it today. Once again, a week from tomorrow, Chicagoland Speedway, the Uno Deep Dish Pizza 400. That should be a good one. Final thoughts: crazy ending. Patrick Smith, I did not expect him to win. We never even mentioned his name a lot, and only led 1 lap, and the most important one. So that is going to do it for today. I'm Ari Sakala. You have been watching, on behalf of Trey Wright, you've been watching the NOFSRL New Era Cup Series. Congratulations to Patrick Smith. His first win in the New Era Cup Series, and it comes at Riki Raceway. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and so long from Canada.